Good morning. You're tuned into the Suncity News Center here on 104.9 FM. It's now time for a morning news and sports update. I'm Jada Francis. Coming up in the news this morning on the local scene, a woman's body with hands tied found in Manchester. Ferry police on Mandela Highway closed for renovations. On the regional scene, Trinidad still banking on oil and gas. On the international scene, Sri Lankan president flees the country amid economic crisis. And in sports, hard to breathe, Andre DeGrasse reveals major setback for World Championships following COVID-19 recovery. News in detail right after this. Now the news in detail. The body of a woman with its hands bound was found on Bethel Street in Greenvale, Manchester on Tuesday evening. The identity of the deceased woman has not yet been released. The body was reportedly discovered sometime after 6 p.m. by residents. Upon the discovery, the residents summoned the police. The ferry police station off the Mandela Highway in St. Catherine has been closed for renovations. The Jamaica Constabulary Force advised of the temporary closure on Tuesday evening. According to the JCF, members of the ferry community and its environs are to direct their concerns and queries to the nearby Duane Park Police Station in St. Andrew, located at 3 to 5 Sutcliffe Avenue, Kingston 20. Also, persons can also take their issues to the Central Village Police Station. In December 2021, the Toll Authority of Jamaica donated $10 million to assist in renovating the ferry police station's interior and external structures, which are said to be in a dire need of repair. Works slated to be completed included roof repairs, electrical modifications, upgrade to existing offices and work areas, along with restrooms, improvement of the waiting area, and an overall facelift to the building. The project was to begin 2 years prior, but had been delayed due to unforeseen circumstances. The ferry police station has responsibility for conducting patrol and traffic enforcement activities along the East-West Highway and the North-South Highway, as well as the Caymanas Special Economic Zone to Maumee Bay in St. Anne. Meanwhile, a total of 15,277 people were arrested in Jamaica in 2021, a sharp increase of 19.1% when compared with 2020. Category 1 crimes, which include murder, rape, aggravated assault, robbery, and break-ins, accounted for 16.2% of all arrests made during the year. These statistics are contained in the 2021 edition of the Economic and Social Survey Jamaica ESSJ. According to the survey, which is an annual publication of the Planning Institute of Jamaica, Category 1 crimes saw an overall decline of 6.0% last year. However, murders increased by 10.6%. The survey noted that, as with previous years, males continue to be the main perpetrators of crime, with 96.5% of those arrested being males. It said the number of victims of Category 1 crimes decreased by 6.3%, with males accounting for 71.6% of the 6,313 victims. Meanwhile, almost one-fifth of the Category 1 crimes continued to be registered in the parish of St. Andrew, while St. Catherine accounted for 15.1% and Kingston 14.3%. Parish level reductions in the number of Category 1 crimes reported ranged from as low as 0.8% in Clarendon to a high of 32.1% in St. Elizabeth. The number of such crimes reported in Manchester increased by 20.9%. You're listening to Morning News on Suncity 104.9 FM. The time is now 7 minutes after 7, and we continue with regional news. The Trinidad and Tobago Energy and Energy Industries Minister Stuart Young on Monday said he supports reports that despite the trend of renewables, there is agreement that oil and gas will continue to be important primary fuels for the coming decades. Young told the conference of the Geological Society of Trinidad and Tobago that he is an advocate for the continued and increased use of natural gas as it is the cleanest fossil fuel. In 2020, fossil fuels represented approximately 79% of primary energy consumption worldwide, and by 2050, they are projected to represent approximately 65% of primary energy under the GECF assumptions, but in a much larger market. He said that the share of the petroleum and other liquids in the primary energy mix is projected to decrease from 30% in 2020 to 25% by 2050. Young said that the power generation sector will also take a frontline place, accounting for 42% of the total increase in gas demand. On the international scene, the president of Sri Lanka fled the country early Wednesday, slipping away in the middle of the night only hours before he was to step down amid a devastating economic crisis that has triggered severe shortages of food and fuel. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, his wife, and 2 bodyguards left aboard a Sri Lankan Air Force plane bound for the city of Male, the capital of Maldives, according to an immigration official who spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the situation. Rajapaksa had agreed to resign under pressure. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said he would leave once a new government was in place. The president's departure followed months of demonstrations that culminated Saturday in protesters storming his home and office and the official residence of his prime minister. The protests have all dismantled his family's political dynasty, which ruled Sri Lanka for most of the past 2 decades. On Wednesday morning, Sri Lankans continued to stream into the presidential palace. A growing line of people waited to enter the residence, many of whom had traveled from outside Colombo on public transport. The new president will serve the remainder of Rajapaksa's term, which ends in 2024, and could potentially appoint a new prime minister who would then have to be approved by parliament. The current prime minister is to serve as president until a replacement is chosen, an arrangement that was sure to inflame protesters who want Wickremesinghe out immediately. Sri Lankan presidents are protected from arrest while in power, and it is likely Rajapaksa planned his escape while he still had constitutional immunity. A corruption lawsuit against him in his former role as a defense official was withdrawn when he was elected president in 2019. Corruption and mismanagement have left the island nation laden with debt and unable to pay for imports of basic necessities. These shortages have sown despair among the country's 22 million people. Sri Lankans are skipping meals and lining up for hours to try to buy scarce fuel. Until the latest crisis deepened, the Sri Lankan economy had been expanding and growing a comfortable middle class. And in sports this morning, 2019 World Championship bronze medalist Andre de Grasse has revealed that he is facing major setbacks ahead of the 2022 hosting of the World Athletics Championships in Eugene, Oregon, scheduled to begin this Friday, July 15. Here's more on that report. After a recent COVID-19 bout, Olympic 200-meter champion Andre DeGrasse of Canada may be unable to compete in that event at the World Championships. According to DeGrasse, he hopes to compete in both the 100 meters and the 200 meters at the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon, but the 200 meter, which comes after 3 rounds of the 100 meter, is a game-time decision as he regains strength, as quoted by the Canadian press. According to this report, DeGrasse, who has 7 medals in 7 career individual races between the Olympics and the World Championships, dealt with COVID-19 for the second time a month before the World Championships, spent 3 days in bed, and felt out of breath after ascending 1 flight of stairs. The Canadian press reported that he said he was pretty down and out, and during the first week of training he expressed that he did not feel great. DeGrasse said his lungs were hard to breathe and that it takes a lot to get back. His symptoms included coughing and fatigue. DeGrasse, who also had a reported foot injury earlier in the season, is currently ranked 50th in the world in the 100 meters and 74th in the 200 meters by best times this year. At the Tokyo Olympics, DeGrasse won the 200 meters in a Canadian record of 19.62 seconds, which would rank 3rd this year, behind Americans Ariana Knighton 19.49 seconds and Noah Lyles 19.61 seconds. And finally, this morning, in foreign exchange trading news for Wednesday, June 15, 2022, the day's foreign exchange trading ended with $1 US trading for $152.90. The Canadian dollar closed the trading day at $115.63, and while the pound sterling retails at $181.54. And now for your weather forecast. There is the Saharan dust and low-level jet stream across the central Caribbean. Both the Saharan dust and low-level jet stream are expected to remain across the region through to Thursday. Thereafter, a trough is expected to move into the vicinity of the island. This morning, expect partly cloudy and hazy conditions, with windy conditions especially across sections of southern parishes. Now, to end this newscast, we take a look at the main stories once more. On the local scene, woman's body with hands tied found in Manchester. Ferry police on Mandela Highway closed for renovations. On the regional scene, Trinidad still banking on oil and gas. On the international scene, Sri Lankan president flees the country amid economic crisis. And in sports, hard to breathe, Andre DeGrasse reveals major setbacks for World Championships following COVID-19 recovery. And that's it for news and sports from the Suncity News Center at this time. Do join us again at midday for more news on this station. Please remember to follow us on our social for Instagram and Twitter. Look for us at Suncity104.9 FM and on Facebook at Suncity Radio 104.9 FM. I'm Jada Francis from the Suncity News Center. Do stay tuned for more right here on this station.
That was the morning news on the Suncity Morning Show.
Place to escape? Shop on credit at Singer and get furniture, appliances, and electronics on a payment plan that you can afford. Get 4 months for cash, 9 months no interest, or up to 36 months to pay. Singer, a plan for every pocket. Credit made easy. Shop today. The time brought to you by Singer is...
Hey, the time is now 60 minutes after 7.
Build it, renovate it, or transform it with the trusted brand of quality sand and stone from Jamaica Aggregates. Located in Yala St. Thomas, Agualta